Hey, Matt.
Yeah, Kailan?
I got a question.
Another one. Okay.
Yeah, so I heard of a thing called a marketing funnel. What is it?
Right. So the marketing funnel is an idea that works for some businesses, and it's the idea that your customers will, first of all, they won't know about you. Then they will become aware of you. They will experience a moment where they have a problem that relates to what you do, or might relate to what you do. There's a period of evaluation, of trying to figure out, is this right, comparing different options. Then there's a moment of purchase, a decision moment, where they pick someone to buy from and they spend the money. Then some go into a little bit more detail and say, after that point, there's a service period, there's receiving the product, depending on how it's delivered, and whether or not the people become supporters. There's a whole lot of assumptions along there, and typically the theory of a funnel is that you have more people that have just become aware of you, a couple fewer that are figuring out they have a problem, even fewer that are deliberating and considering you in their options, and then that tiny slice gets through all of that process to actually end up becoming a customer.
So it's that easy? Step one step, move to the next step, move to the next step, then I buy a thing? It's great!
Oh yeah, and everyone knows that everyone's life looks exactly the same. There's no differences between people. Of course not. We all know about the same things, and we all listen to the same music. No. So...
Dubstep for life!
Thanks. So, where some people will follow the trajectory as intended by a marketing manager. They will first discover a billboard that is meant to raise awareness. Then they'll have that moment of realizing they've got a problem, and they'll go to the What We Do page of the website, and then they'll go, oh yes, what they do is what I need, and then go straight to purchasing. For most people, it's not like that. For a lot of people, let's back up a step. When you're developing your marketing, you're trying to make sure that there's something that you're making that touches on each of the elements. Typically, you'll have more of it geared towards awareness and that first contact moment, because people need to hear a message multiple times to hear, understand, and remember it, but also because you're trying to attract more people to that stage. And then it's assumed that once people are there, they will seek out more information as they need it. So typically, most of your marketing is spent on the awareness, then a slightly smaller slice on making sure people are aware of the problem that exists, then a little bit less on evaluation. These would be things like salespeople or help pages. And then finally, you go down to the purchase moment, something very focused on getting the sale. So you've made all of these things. You're trying to deal with people at every stage of the funnel. But people are not going to just wander through it in order. They're going to encounter things out of order. Somebody might experience a sales call first if, let's say, you have people involved in cold calling. You've just jumped straight to the evaluation phase. Then they might see a billboard about it. Then maybe they are going to see some of the explanation of the problem that you've made. People are going to jump around within this funnel and are going to meander their way towards a purchase decision if they ever get there. Because at any point during this, they might realize, one, they don't actually have the problem that you're solving, or two, the way in which you're solving it isn't the way they want it done.
What about sales? Like, they're like, hey, 15% off this thing. What does that fall under that marketing funnel?
So when people get to the decision point, they're going to have different thresholds to determine if they actually feel ready to buy. And for a lot of people, how much they're going to pay has some influence over that measure. So where somebody might be willing to buy a car at full price new, like let's say it's $50,000, some people are willing to pay that. Others will never buy a car at $50,000. They will buy it used for $15,000. They'll get a different car, but they will buy something that solves the same problem. And so sales can serve a function of attracting and converting some of the people that wouldn't buy at the top price and giving them a reason to reevaluate again, where with changed conditions, that being the price is lower. For some people, it'll be the moment of saying, yes, I'm happy with that price now, I'm going to go buy it. For others, it's going to be a time-limited, oh, I was considering, but now I'm going to skip some of the evaluation I would have done because there's a time-limited sale. I might miss out. And so sales can influence different kinds of customers in various ways. And a whole other category of customers might say, oh, I see there's a sale, I'm going to wait for a better one. So sales influence how many customers buy. Typically, it will increase the number of sales you get, but it will reduce the margin that you earn off of it. And it might make some people skip a step in the funnel because they've seen something that is compelling to them, whether it is intentional on their part, if it is thoroughly thought through. I would never advise you try to psychologically manipulate people by doing sales or really hitting on the fear of missing out, but acknowledging that it's a part of why sales work is important. And so use sales. Convert those customers that wouldn't pay full price. Increase the percentage of customers that are actually going to buy from you. But structure it in such a way that you're not taking advantage of people with the way it's structured.
So like ethical marketing.
Yeah, ethical marketing. I think we'll have a separate video on that at some point.
That feels like a bigger separate.
Maybe it'll be something that's just the through line of all the different videos.
Are there any other ways you could see the customer experience? What are the different... Like funnel can't be the only one.
No. Actually, give me a second. You're right. The funnel is not the only way to see the way a customer interacts with your marketing material or the way that they make decisions about what they buy. A really good way of also exploring how customers buy and how they experience your organization is through the customer story, the customer journey. There's going to be an introduction, an incident, a moment where they realize something's not right, or things could be better, or I have a fear that I don't want to experience. I don't want this to happen. That leads them to go on a journey. We can follow hero's journey principles here. They're telling themselves a story about what their life should be like or could be like. And then, so they've realized there's a problem, there could be a problem. They start searching for a solution. Then there's going to be some kind of guide. Often, this is where you come in. You can provide the information that they need to make an informed decision. Even if it doesn't necessarily end in them buying from you, you will then become the trusted expert on the topic. You'll be their guide whenever they have a problem. Your product or service could also serve as the guide, helping them to transform themselves into the solution to their problem. And so through that process, they learn, they develop as individuals with the help of the product or service, then going on to become changed people, coming out the other end with a solution or a conclusion to their story, at least as far as it included your business. And so building a story brand is one of the ways to explain that. They go through that whole hero's journey process and explain how a customer could interact with your company. And the customer journey is a whole nother topic, at least as big as customer funnels. So the journey is about what do you want or hope customers will experience of your marketing first? Where does that lead them? Is there a thread that you're opening and encouraging them to follow? Where should they go after they see your first billboard? Where should the customer go after they hear about your product from a friend or a family member? Are you trying to encourage them to follow a specific path through whatever marketing material you've made or through the relationship with your organization? That intentional movement, that direction, is one of the ways that you can conceive of the customer experiencing your organization and getting to the point of being ready to purchase. It's a little less simple than the funnel, but it can provide a bit of a better overview of what experiences customers could have.
So the end point of marketing is to get the customer to buy.
Right. So as I mentioned at the very beginning, after the purchase point, there's also like, how do you deliver the product or service to them? How do they respond to the product or service? And do they become a long-term supporter? The point of these tools is to have a better understanding of where the customer's at mentally, emotionally, as they're getting ready to purchase. But then also, afterwards, how do you continue to engage with the customer? Will they need another moment of a problem coming up or feeling like there could be more to get them to come back? How could you keep communicating with them to engage with them to make sure their problems are solved before they need to ask? Or so that if they want to support you, there's an avenue to do that. There's a direction that they can go to get more involved, to bring others with them. How could you encourage your customers that have already bought in? They're already in. How can you encourage them to bring others? Become the promoter for you because they believe in it, not because they're part of the company. That is one of the real endpoints for me in all of these customer journey, customer funnels. How can we help the customer really become involved?